I was looking to actually see if that actually comes up on these tests again, but we could cover it. Yeah, let me get to that.
That was just one of the ones I didn't understand completely.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do is not overwhelm you with a lot of math and give you problems that you're gonna be able to do quickly.
Okay.
Because we could spend a whole lesson on certain things that you may not ever see. So yeah, let's look at this one's kind of weird. We'll look at it together. Okay. This thing up here above the words actually don't matter at the moment. It's probably better written like this: 2 to the power of 2 over n. And then this thing inside parentheses is really the nth root of 3. Okay, and there's really a 1 there. So how would you rewrite this one on the right as a number to a fraction or an exponent?
1 over n.
1 over
Like-
n, very good. Now, this is very important here. Are you able to combine the exponents? Are the bases the same?
No, they're not.
They are not the same. Okay. But why do they even have this way? So but there is something you can do. Okay. And this is the first part of the problem I want to make sure you got down. Now, if you go the other direction, so let's say you wanted to write 2 times 2 over n as a root. So this is like going from x to the 1/2 to the square root of x to the 1. How would you write 2 to the 2 over n as a root?
I'd put n to n power 2 squared.
That's right. So if we grab kind of this part again, and we say, okay, it's really the nth root of 4 times the nth root of 3. There's yet another property here. We've talked about this a little bit, like the square root of a times b is the square root of a times the square root of b. So what can you do to manipulate
I could just make
this?
root of 12.
The nth root of 12, yes. Now, you've seen me do this over and over again where I don't actually show you the answers. And I don't know if you think that's frustrating or not. If I were to show you the answers, you would have no way that you'd probably choose the wrong one. And I'm suggesting that there's probably a technique here where you wait to look at the answers. And it's kind of, you either want to look at them and really analyze them, or you don't want to look at them at all. And I can't tell you which, depends on the problem, but you were able to work through this pretty well. Okay, so let's have you try something like this on your own. It's a little bit different, but I just want you to simplify this. See how you're doing on this. Go ahead and take a minute or two and see what you come up with. Do you have an answer for me on this one?
Yeah, but it could totally 100% be wrong, and I think it is.
Okay.
9 squared over x squared.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
9x squared over x squared.
Like this?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know what to do, so I just distributed the square root.
The square, you mean?
Right, I mean, and then it went from there.
Okay. Um, like the problem with what you did is like, you're like, have you heard this before where they say you're like, you don't even realize how close you are to the finish line. If you just do another, 10%, you'd be there. You ever heard that from maybe your, parent or family member or something?
Yeah.
So you're like 10% from the finish line. So don't the x squareds cancel?
Yeah.
So what is the final answer?
9.
9. Okay. Now let's talk about how you could do this. You distributed this to both terms. I think that's fine. So it's 4 times 9x squared over 4x squared. And I think you saw that the 4's canceled, but you didn't say, oh, the x squareds cancel. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can cancel the variables. Let's look at another problem here. I'll make one up here. Have you work on it. 3 times. Okay, so go ahead and try this one, please.
I got 27
Okay.
or 27 over 4.
Which one is it?
27 over 4 is what I got.
Okay, so let's work this out together. 6 squared is 36, x squared, and then 4 squared is 16 over x squared. So the x squareds cancel. And then 36 and 16, you probably reduced that to 18 and 8, and then maybe went 9 and 4. So you got 27 over 4. Good. What do you think of the difficulty of those problems?
Um, to be honest, I wasn't confident with my answer until you just showed me. So I think I'm okay on them.
But did your work match what I just did?
Yeah, I did.
Good. That's what's important. Okay. Let's do another one. But let me show you something slightly different here. So we've done a problem like this before where it's like 2x minus y cubed over 2x minus y squared. And you do not actually have to cube the top and square the bottom. What you have to recognize is that this is really like 3a cubed over a squared. Why did I make that substitution, do you think?
I don't know.
Tell me what's inside the parentheses in the numerator.
2x minus y.
Yeah,
They just said it. Is
they're
that
the
what that?
same, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I could come up with something really complicated and you can say, but they're the same. So what is this reduced to on the right? How many a's do you have?
I got 3 a's on the top.
To the power of
3,
minus 2,
1. 1.
right? You subtract the exponent, so just 1. And what does a represent?
2x minus y.
So if one of the answers was 6x minus 3y, would you be okay with that? Like, could you see that that's the answer because you distribute into both?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's do a couple more of these. Okay, which of the following is equivalent to square root 4x? And I wrote this earlier, the square root of a times b equals the square root of a times the square root of b. Why does that apply to this question here?
So we could separate the x and the 4.
Okay, so what, can you do that for me? Can you take the square root of each?
Square root 2 and then square root x, or what would that be?
So here's what I think you meant: square root of 4 and then square root of x, right?
Yeah.
And square root of 4, it becomes
2.
2. What does the square root of x become?
X.
It would
X.
be if it was x squared, but
X.
there's, go ahead.
Is it x to the 1/2 power?
Yes. Now that's very important here because I'm going to show you the answers. And again, I'm doing this because I really don't want you to be just guessing at, something when you see it. Which is the correct answer?
I don't know.
Okay, which one? But you just told me
Oh,
it's good. It's 2.
A.
Yes. There's some gap there. Why is it that when you have the answer, you still aren't confident in your answer? We got to get you to feel better about that. Okay. So they sort of transition. Actually, let me go back. I want to see if I have some other questions on this. All right, let's look at another question here. I think this is a good direction for us to move. So we're going to use exponents, but we're going to start solving some equations. Now, this is a really tough question. It says, which of the following values of x is not a solution? These are really tough questions. Let's look at the ones that are a solution. Let's check 0. Is the square root of 0 squared equal to 0?
No.
Well, let's break this down. What is 0 squared? What is 0 times 0?
Oh, 0.
0. And then the square root of 0 is still 0.
Oh, is it -1 to negative power, like -1 power? Is that what turns it into 1? Or if it's 0?
You mean I, the square root of -1 is I?
Yeah, okay.
Maybe that's what you're referring to. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Let's try the
Sorry.
next one. Is the square root of 1 squared equal to 1? And again, I'm just taking these values of x and plopping them in there.
It would be x, so the square root of 1 would still be 1, and that would equal 1.
So this is true. I want you to try it for 3. Is 3 true?
Square root. Yeah.
Yes. So let's look at why the last one isn't true. Because when you take -4 and you square it, you have to be very careful here. You have to square before you square root.
So I have to turn it into a positive 16 or negative 16?
Yes, positive 16.
Oh, because this is a double negative.
Yes. And that's why it's there as A, because they want you to sort of not remember that. So it's really the square root of 16. Is that -4?
No, it'd just be 4. So it wouldn't be a negative 4.
It would not work, yeah. And so that's a really kind of a frustrating problem for students, because but we've talked about it. If you choose letter A, you should really look at the problem one more time and be like, all right, is it really letter A, or did I just get that number and I want it to be letter A, but it's not. Okay, so imagine we move the x to the other side of the equation, so that this was 2k squared plus 17 equals x. Okay, and they tell you now that x is 7. So I want you to put each of these values in for k until you get the one that's 7.
Okay. Would I have to square root the k first before
No,
doing any?
there's parentheses here. You have to square the k, then multiply by 2, then add 17. Order of operations, right? You gotta, when you're simplifying, you go this direction. So you're gonna do exponents before multiplication before addition.
Okay. So 2. Okay. 4. 8 plus 17. 8 plus 17. 21. 20. Nope. 3 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 17. No. 4. 16 times 2 is 32 plus 17. 32 plus 17. Square root 104. No. Square root.
Do you have an answer for me?
I think I did something wrong.
So none of them worked, I guess, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so let's look at these together a little bit here. So this is just order of operations. So 2k squared plus 17. So let's just do it for 2. 2 times 2 squared plus 17. You have to square first. What's 2 squared?
4.
4 times 2
8
plus 17.
is 25.
So what is the square root of 25?
5.
Okay, so it's got to be bigger than 2, but we know that. So let's try C. Because if C is too big, then it must be
B.
There you go. Okay, so this is called the AC approach or BD approach. So it's 2 times 4 squared plus 17. What is 4 squared?
16.
2 times 16 is
32
plus 17,
is 49.
49. What's the square root of 49?
7.
Is that your answer? Good. Let's say X was 6, we would be like, oh, it must be the one in the middle. Okay, I want you to look at the answer space here. I want you to tell me what you notice about these numbers, if anything.
So it goes from 8 to 16, which is 8 times 2, and then 16 to 64, which is 16 times 2, and I don't know what 140 would have to do with anything. They're all divisible by 8, I'm guessing.
The last one's not. The first 3 are. That's true. Now, this is not the entire question, but let me snip in the first part of the question, and then I want you to re-answer. Now, what do you notice about the answers given this symbol right here?
They're all perfect square roots.
Are you sure? What's the square root of 8 then?
Oh, yeah, that's not. I don't know. I don't know.
What about B? Do you know that one?
No.
You don't know the square root of 16? Yes, you do.
Oh, I thought you said oh, 16
Sorry.
is
Yeah, I was trying to get you to see that you know those two answers. Okay. Now let me frame the full question because like this is really how you want to attack this test. And so I'm gonna give you the full problem here. Okay, and we'll look at it together. Which of the following is the solution to the above equation? Okay, do you know the square root of 8?
oh,
So it's definitely not that number. Okay, is it the square root of 140? No. So which you either try B or C, and if B is wrong, then it's C. If C is wrong, then it's B.
it's C.
It is C. All right, so we actually looked at a problem just like this one, but with different numbers. So let's try this one here. I'd like you to try this one on your own, please, and then we'll take a short break after we're done with this one.
Okay.
So we go ahead and give this a try. Let me know when you come up with your final answer.
I got D for the answer.
Yeah, D is correct here. So let's just take a 2-minute break. I'll check back with you at 28 after.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Elijah.
Hello.
All right, so we've done a bunch of these which of the following um, questions. Let me see if I can start back at the beginning. Okay, which expression is equivalent to the following? So whenever they give you the answers, and this doesn't always work, but if you were generally trying to save time, do you see how the last answer is correct? And then this one's the first one. I think this one was C. So whenever you see which of the following solutions, I would tell you to start from the bottom up
Okay.
as the strategy. And not everyone will work, but when you truly have to look at the answers, it's designed in such a way where they want you to try A, try B, try C, and then get to D. You can shortcut that obviously if you know what we're doing here with this approach. So we've done a ton on exponents. We actually can do more, but let's switch topics. Let's see if you can something else that we can work on. Okay. Yeah, let's go to some new stuff here. Now, what I just said, I mean, it doesn't always work, but it's just again, it's in the guideline, kind of thing. All right, let's look at this problem here. It says, which of the following equivalent forms of the function is most suitable to indicate the x coordinates of the x-intercepts of the graph of f of x in the xy plane? Do you know what an x-intercept is or what that means?
I probably do if you told me.
Okay, so the x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So for x-intercepts, the best form is what's called factored form. We talked about factoring a couple lessons ago. Do you remember what the first type of factoring you should always do is?
No.
It's the greatest common factor.
Oh, I had these written down.
So what number or variable goes into all three of those?
4.
4. So it's 4 times x squared plus x minus 6. Now you might think that A is the correct answer, right? But does this help you to figure out the x-intercepts as it is, or can you factor it further?
You can factor it further.
Okay. And do you remember how to do that? You're trying to find two numbers that multiply to -6, but add up to
1.
+1. Yeah.
So it'd be 3 times 2. So it'd be -3 and 2? Or
Yes. Yes. X plus 3, X minus 2. Does the order matter? Like, could we have switched the order?
no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Yes, you can switch the order because multiplication is what's called commutative. The order doesn't matter. So these are equivalent.
So B.
B, yes. All right. So I want you to apply that same approach to this problem here, but I'm not going to give you the answers yet.
Okay. Oh.
All right. So I want you to factor that equation for me.
So because X doesn't have a number in front of it, I can't really go any further, right?
There's no GCF. I mean, I could put a GCF in here, but I'm not going to.
Okay. X squared minus 6 plus 8 makes -6. 8. 4 times 2. -4 minus. So X minus 4X. Okay, I got something.
Okay, what do you have for me?
I got X minus 4X minus 2.
Okay, I agree. Now let me give you the full answer space here, and we'll talk about that. Okay, so which is the correct answer?
It'd be D.
It's D. Now I didn't read the question, but it asks for the intercepts again. So what you have to do somehow is associate x-intercepts with factored form.
What's that mean?
This is factored form. The y equal the x minus 4x minus 2, that's factored form.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go do something different here. Give me just a moment here to get a graph pulled up, and then we'll look at the next problem here. But I want to frame it together so you can see it with that. Where did everything go? All right.
Ugh.
Sorry, just taking a moment here to get this.
You're all good.
All right, so looking at this graph here, where does it cross the x-axis? Can you tell me that?
5, 4, and -3.
Good. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to snip in the question, and I want you to tell me. How it's related to this. So you'll here we go. There it is. How are those numbers you just found related to what I have snipped in here, this equation?
It has all the points except the positive ones turned into a negative sign, and the negative one turned into a positive.
So watch this. Let's just say we set x minus 4 equal to 0. What is the value of x?
4.
Okay.
So it's just setting them to 0.
Yes. Why
Okay.
did okay, that was weird. All right. So you're setting each of these equal to 0. Okay. When you do that. Now, if I give you this one up here, Give you another question here.
Ugh.
Okay, so this is a new question. What are the x-intercepts?
So it'd be 4, -2, and 1.
Okay, now I'm going to give you the entire question. And I want you to read the question first.
What is the product of the solutions to the given equation?
So the solutions are the intercepts.
So I'd add them all together or what?
What does the word product mean?
Multiply?
Yes. So you just gave me the each of the solutions from the when I asked you above, and then you're going to multiply them together.
D?
Yeah, I think. Nope. 4, -2. Yeah, it is D. Sorry. Yes, you got it. It was. All right. Now, this problem is going the other direction. So let's just see if you can do it. I think you can. They're giving you the intercepts now. In the xy plane, the graph of function f has x-intercepts -3, -1, and 1. Which of the following could define f? So one way you could do it is look at the answers and go backwards, or you could try to write it from these.
I got C.
It is C, yes.
I did the first example of how to do it, is just do it and read it.
Good, good. Okay. So this one has a lot of other words, but I want you to try to use the same approach that we've been using. The words don't actually mean much in this one, but they're there. So go ahead and read this one to yourself and see what you come up with.
The graph in the xy plane of the equation above contains the point AB. If -1 is greater than or less than or equal to A, and let A is less than or equal to 1, which of the following is not a possible value of B? So it would be,
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell me the solutions to this.
so the first x would equal 1, the second x would equal -1, and the third x would equal -2.
Okay. So it's saying that, well, actually this one's asking something different, but what, yeah, actually, I apologize. What I was hoping is that this was the same as the others, but it's not. I didn't look that closely. But let's just move on to another question here. We'll come back to this at some point, but it's a more complicated problem than we need. So let me go and grab some more parabolas.
Okay.
Questions here. All right. This is again asking like, what is the solution? What is the solution? What are the x-intercepts?
So the first x would be 3 and the second x would be -1.
Okay, so let's be more specific here. Which one is this asking for?
The positive
So which one would you give?
3.
Yes. And if it asked for the negative, it would be for the other one. Wow, this one is very, very complicated for what it's supposed to be. All right, let me have you factor this. It's a new problem here, and then I'll snip in the rest of the question. So try factoring that. That's finding two numbers that multiply to -3, but add up to +2.
Should be 1 negative. One and 3. X negative X. Okay, I got X -1 and X +3.
Yes, that's correct. Okay. Okay, now you would normally do what? What would you set each of these equal to?
1 and -3.
Well, you'd set them equal to 0 to get x is 1 and x is 3. Okay.
But
All right. Now I'm going to give you the full question. We'll look at it together because there are some little nuances here to this. It says if x satisfies the given equation, which of the following could be a value of x plus 3? What did you factor this into? Do you remember?
I'd use -1 and 3.
So they're literally asking like, what does this part equal?
-3.
No. You already have it actually up here.
X plus 3 equals 0.
Yes.
What?
Yes. So they're telling you that 0 could take this place.
Oh. So it'd be C?
Yes. But it's asking you the same question that we've been doing. It's just asking it a different way. And I don't like that, but that is the nature of these things. They're sort of clumsy. All right. I want you to read this question out loud for us.
What is the sum of the solutions to x minus 6, x plus 0.7?
Okay,
Equal.
so equal to 0. So what is the sum of the solutions? What does the word sum mean?
Subtract?
No.
Multiply?
Nope. Okay.
Oh,
Sum. Yeah.
sorry.
Product is multiply. Quotient is division. So on. Okay. You've got to get the two solutions and then add them together.
So 6 and -0.7,
Yes.
it'd be C.
It is C. Yes. All right. Here's a graphical problem for what we've been doing. Grab these. Okay, an equation for the graph above is shown. Y equals x minus 1, x plus b, where b is a constant. What is the value of b? X minus 1 corresponds to what solution? Which value?
X?
Nope.
Wait.
I mean, x minus 1 is where on the graph?
Oh, it is on the right side where 1 is.
Yeah. Okay, so you got to be really careful here for this next one, because is it x minus 3 or is it x plus 3?
X plus 3.
Yes. And
So it'd be
so it is A, because minus 3 is what makes this 0. X plus 3 0, not the minus 3.
so I just wouldn't go past that. I wouldn't see what X equals there.
Well, it does, but you want the value of B. So you're right. X is minus 3, but you have to add it back to the other side. Yeah, and they could ask you for either one, and that's probably again why you had issues on your last exam, or when you took this before, because you just chose things that didn't even make sense. But now you know better. I mean, yeah. All right, let's look at go ahead and read this one out loud for me, please.
Okay. In the xy plane, the graph of the polynomial function f crosses the x-axis at exactly 2 points, a 0 and b 0, where a and b are both positive. Which of the following could define f?
Are there any words in there that you do not understand?
No.
Okay. So it says it crosses at exactly 2 points, A and B, but they're both positive. So that means like it crosses over here. Like, let's just say it's 2 and 5. Okay. Let's just say it looks like that. All right. So let's just say it was 2 and 5. What would you write in parentheses for for 2 and 5.
X minus 2 and x minus 5.
Exactly. So you want to replace those with A and B.
So B and C are not the answer.
They're not the answer. What is the difference between A and D?
There's an x in front of x minus a.
Yeah, now it says it has 2 solutions. This last one here has 3 solutions because you actually set all 3 of them equal to 0. You see that?
Yeah.
So
So
that's the difference. Question on there? I wasn't sure.
Oh no, sorry. I said so would be a, but it probably
Yes.
didn't.
Yeah. All right. Let's have you try this one on your own, please. Just saw it and it's similar to one we've already done. Go ahead and give that a try, please.
What is the product of all values of x that satisfy the equation above? So x equals 4, x equals 0.5, 3 x equals 2. Okay, I have
What is your answer?
so I've got x equals 6, 2x equals 1, 3x equals 2. But I could put the 2x to 0.5 or half, and then 3x would be 2/3, but I don't know if I did that right.
Yeah, but you got to find, what are you trying to find?
The product. Oh, okay. Sorry. Then I don't have the answer yet. Sorry.
Let me know when you got it.
Uh-huh. Am I allowed to use a calculator here or no?
No, but treat 4 as 4/1 and then 2/3, and you just multiply the tops and the bottoms and you reduce if you can.
So I got 4 times 3 is 12 plus.
The 4 is on the top though.
Well, would I have to put the denominator to?
4 times 1 times 2. You're multiplying. When you're multiplying fractions, you just multiply the top and multiply the bottoms.
Oh, okay. 1 times 2 times 6. 4/3
Yes,
and 1.3 repeating.
it would be 4/3 would be the preferred way to enter that. Okay, probably don't have any more time to do another question. So I'm assuming we're continuing next week. I was gonna have just a short dialogue with your dad tomorrow if he's around. I'll communicate with him and see, but you know, a little more practice probably would help. So thanks again. I'll send you the notes here shortly and I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Have a
You're
good
welcome.
rest.
Thank you. Okay, bye.